Sorry.
Live streaming is on.
So never mind.
Hey, good morning and evening, everyone. This is a very unique webinar. This is a private webinar that we're having just with our token holders. We're streaming it live here on YouTube. Thanks so much for joining us. This will also be recorded so that you can watch it later. We have some very exciting and things to talk about. I'm very enthused to make some announcements. Actually, Tim's going to be doing that. But this is really the first step that Blacksearch is making with Uniswap, and each of our token holders are going to be involved. So that's very exciting. And before we get started, I want to just share with everyone that has probably seen Daniele here on Oliver World from here, but Daniele Minci, who is our president of Fusion Funder and comes to us live from Rome, Italy, I believe today, correct?
Absolutely, as always. Thank you, Dan. Ciao, team.
Absolutely. Thanks, Danielle. And then also everybody knows Mr. Tim Vasko, who is the CEO founder of BlockCerts Blockchain. And boy, smoke has been coming out of that office, Tim. All kinds of things.
Yeah. My brain hurts. Yeah, and I think a lot of our team members' brains hurt, but we're pretty excited about this launch. We're very excited about this launch. It's world changing. And Danielle, you need to stand up and show us your shirt. You need to show us what it says.
See?
Code is law. There
you know why? You know I'm dressing this?
Because I had a meeting with my lawyer before, which is trying to understand crypto. And I told him, the moment you understand these statements, you will no longer be needed.
Exactly.
So as long as you understand, but you will become kind of an investor. So eventually you shift from being a lawyer to become an investor because code is law and there's no lawyers needed.
That's right.
So we had a joke. Yeah.
Well, it's pretty exciting. We have token holders. Thanks for everybody that's joined us from China, from the US, Canada, Mexico. I look at the list. It's all over the globe, all over the world, the UK, Italy. And so we thank you for being on our journey with us, especially for those of you that have been on this journey for 3 or 4 years, quite some time, like Renato and others. We thank you for your support and everything that you've helped us achieve here. And it's almost like dog years. The last 4 years have actually been like 20 years of development or so. It's pretty amazing, and can't wait to get into this. And Tim, I know you're going to show this live today, so.
Yeah, we're going to show this live. So there's no PowerPoints for this presentation. It's a live demo of everything that we've got that is launching today. It's launching at this moment. We are starting with how we've tied everything together and really changed blockchain and crypto and those kinds of things that are happening out there. What I believe today is a new era for not only blockchain but the cloud, and I'm going to show you why that is true. This is a reality. It's not a white paper, and it is based on sound fundamental business models and technology. So I'm going to show you what we've done. Over the years in building this out, it's been not only designed, BlockCerts hasn't only been designed to be a cryptocurrency, as everybody understands blockchain today. It's been designed to be a true utility platform, a new cloud. It's been a lot of challenge to take what is blockchain, which is a distributed ledger technology. It's really a database that's distributed around the world that creates these cryptographic hashes, and make that a new protocol for the cloud. So what we're going to show today is right from this wallet that you can download, how we've enabled the world to put the cloud literally right on their laptop. And also as we iterate out on their mobile device. So you literally, truly have full control of the cloud in your pocket. In order to do that, what we did was we created user tools. We created user tools that we call distributed applications. Distributed applications meaning that you're going to become a member of this community and have access to all these applications. And as the community grows, the applications become more and more evolved and solid, like you would see with any tech company. But the users, you token holders, own that cloud as it distributes out. You get the rewards of revenues as blocks are traded. We kept the blockchain mandate of mining. We kept the blockchain mandate of creating rewards. And we basically are doing that with what we all do every single day. So basically what we've done is we've taken two big ideas, which is what would it look like if you took Microsoft or if you took Apple or you took any of these big software providers, Salesforce.com, and you just handed it over to everybody. And you said, here, no matter how big or small you are with whatever stake, and Daniele will start making these relationships between the terms in blockchain and the term and DeFi and things like that to what we've done. With no matter how big your stake, you're a part of it.
And Tim, I think for the first time, at least I visualized this morning, I wasn't able to sleep, and then I woke up. And
Nobody slept.
yeah,
I was up at 2.
Welcome to the club. And of a sleepless night. But in fact, this is actually Metcalfe law in action, because we speak very often about the Metcalfe law, which is essentially you create a model that it's kind of linked to the network effect of the underlying network. So, which is the internet, the Bitcoin, whatever. But here is essentially you see that the more the network is growing, the more reward are being distributed for real. It's not just a model that explain why the market cap of that network, say Facebook, for example, is growing because of a network effect. So someone else is capturing this value. This is redistributed to those that contribute to the growth of a network. And this is changing completely the model of how you value a network.
Exactly. How you value network, how you use technology, and accessibility and participation in the network, right?
Absolutely.
So without further ado, let me log in. Many of you have seen this login before, but what you haven't seen is how true utility, all of the utility that we've created is in the system. So I'm going to get past my security here and do this with my one-time password. I'm going to confirm it, and I'm going to go into partners. The first thing that you're going to see is a bunch of new tools up here. You're going to see that I am not secure at the moment. So the minute you come in here, if I want to finish my identity, I'm going to click on this and I need to finish my identity, and it will take me over to a place where I have to KYC. In this wallet and in this model, you can't do anything until you're authenticated. So the first proof in our blockchain is proof of authentication. Now, once you're authenticated, you can identify and de-identify. And what we do with those records, and maybe the very first thing I'm going to kick out with is how Silicon Valley themselves are not ready for this. But the very first thing what's that?
I said sorry.
Sorry. But the very first thing you do with those records is you identify, and then we've built a big encryption system behind that to protect identities and all of those tools. Why is that important? I don't know if anybody saw this, but August 3rd, a Silicon Valley VC firm with $1 billion in assets was hit by ransomware. And if you read down, it was hit by ransomware, and a letter to the Maine Attorney General's office said it became aware of the attack on July 9th. And by July 26th, it learned that the data had been stolen from the servers before the files were encrypted. This is called a double extortion tactic. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the first, what did they lose? Letter says ATV believes the names, email addresses, phone numbers, and social security numbers of the individual investors in ATV's funds were lost.
And Tim, that's after 30 billion records were exposed last year alone.
Right. So this is
Just
a
keeps
pretty
happening.
decent sized number. We've got nowhere near that amount of capital behind BlockCerts. And so when we talk about security, the first trend in the world today is security, and that goes beyond ransomware attacks. It also goes to privacy. And we're gonna talk a little bit about privacy in a moment. So what I'm gonna do is take you through every one of these elements on the BlockCerts. Understand that by doing this and by creating any of these wallets, the minute you start creating a wallet, you're tying to the blockchain and all of that actual live encryption, security, private and public key that's possible on the blockchain with true utility. Okay, so that's why this wallet was and is such a critical component. Do we think that wallet in itself, so we're going to go across this way, do we think the wallet itself is valuable? Well, let's have a look at what the world says here and see if we think that, if the world thinks that's valuable. And again, everything that we've done has been based on the idea that technology has a pretty high stake and a pretty high value. So just in May, the Galaxy Digital BitGo wallet, as Daniele pointed out yesterday, just a crypto trading wallet, sold for, I think it was 1.6 billion or $1.2 billion in cash and stock. So what you're looking at then is a wallet that sold for $1.2 billion just to trade crypto. And here you're looking at a wallet that has a number of things, a number of elements in it. The first thing being KYC authentication embedded in the wallet. The second is this ability, yes, to buy BCERTs across any exchange, including fiat, bank transfer, Bitcoin or Ethereum, and or to trade. And we're now today announcing that we have set up our direct connection to Uniswap. I'm going to start pointing out a few things about trading. And I'm going to do a disclaimer here. I'm not a trading expert. I'm a technology expert. I build this stuff. I understand it. I understand how it all works. But the good news is you do have a trading expert here, which is Daniele Menzi. So I will show you functionally that it's secure, that it's stable, that it works, that we've got true utility in trading. Daniele will take you through that. I'd like to, before I get into how this relates, though, continue on the utility side of things, if that's okay, and then come back to trading and let Daniele pick that up. Is that a good way to handle this, guys?
Yep.
So,
perfect.
So the reason I want to do that is I want you to understand that every time a transaction on the blockchain network, BlockCerts network happens, there is this idea of BCERTs and ink. Ink is to BlockCerts what mining and gas are. Mining is to Bitcoin. If you mine enough, you get a Bitcoin, or gas is to Ethereum. If you're a miner on Ethereum, you get rewarded and you make money. Those are the things that happen on BlockCerts, but with ink, okay? Ink is our unit of cost. And if I go in here, every one of these transactions creates a hash on the blockchain. And when I click that hash, I'm not going to right now, it's going to go over and find that cryptographic block. We've created a block. That makes us a sustainable blockchain. It makes us an eco-friendly blockchain because we're doing these through authenticated transactions with people who have the authentication and the stake in the community to create these hashes. So we're a hybrid chain. And when we do that, ink is generated. That ink is going to be part of the reward that goes into the liquidity pools and rewards the token holders. So we add on to that with every transaction. This is a true utility-based blockchain. How do I do that? I have a bunch of opportunities. One is simply by collaborating and running different things like our World From Here webinar right here. I can instantly start a new video meeting. I won't do it there. I'll do it over here, and I'll start a new video meeting. And right now, when I do that, Daniele will be rung. You'll probably hear it. And we now are starting a secure video meeting between Daniele and I on this channel right from our wallet. Okay. So if I do that and I join that meeting here, I've now created an instant secure double encrypted meeting and a secure recording area where I can control all of that data in a private and secure manner. And just for example purposes to prove that it works, I'll turn on my my camera here and
I'll do the same
quickly there. And that camera's not set right, but we'll exit because we're going to get double feedback here. Okay. Yeah. So that's us live, starting all of our collaboration right through here. Is that important? And does security in meetings matter much? Well, let's see. What happened this week was a little thing with Zoom that settled an $85 million privacy settlement where they had a class action suit that covers paying customers and those who used free accounts. And the reaching the settlement was because Zoom was sharing its information. It was accused that it was sharing its information with Facebook and Google and things like that. And so essentially, you already have the largest video platform in the world that's already been accused of both sharing data and having privacy breaches and security breaches. Okay. And they've admitted it and very quickly handled it with a simple $85 million settlement.
Chump change.
So does the world need a wallet with a meeting app in it that provides security and provides control to the users? I'll leave that as an open-ended question.
Yeah, and pretty exciting, Tim, that all token holders have access to this now.
That's right.
As soon as very important, you have more than a Zoom in your pocket, and that's just the first thing you're talking about.
Yeah, I think we have to remark a couple of points here. So first one is we're transitioning from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0, and essentially the difference lie down in the presence, in a permanent presence of a wallet as a means of authentication. So we should forget entering username password while authenticating, while the wallet will be part of a native evolution of authentication system, making sure if you go on a website and there is an element of, let's say, trading associated to it, NFT properties that you want to show on a social level, then the wallet is the key to enter into this metaverse, into Web 3.0 fashion. So without this, transition into the Web 3.0 is becoming cumbersome and complicated. So I think owning a wallet like this, not necessarily this, but there might others, but this has an excellent user experience because if you take, for example, MetaMask is just an Ethereum wallet. So this means if you wanna take under custody of a non-Ethereum token, so you cannot do it. So, and if you want to integrate services on top of MetaMask, you cannot do it because that is a single purpose wallet. Okay. Okay. So having a multi-purpose wallet, I think, pave a way on new type of utility of wallets. And to my knowledge, and I'm in this industry since years, I've never seen a multi-facet wallet like this, a general purpose wallet like this, ever before.
I don't believe it exists anywhere in the world, including China. I don't think this exists anywhere in the world. In fact, Dan mentioned we've got some new Chinese token holders in, so welcome.
We do, welcome. Yeah, and Tim, before you move on, I just want to share a statement you shared with myself and Bob Gerard 3 years ago, which was, we're going to...
What did I say?
No, it was profound, and it's actually coming true here, which is we're going to fix the issues that the internet created.
Right.
And that's really the promise of Web 3.0 and what is here today, what others are talking about, but what we're bringing to the market. And that's just very important, so that you can't be tracked, you can't be hacked, you can't, this is taking privacy into your own hands, your own data, and it's just very important to note.
Well, and I want to point that out, because when you see this transaction table, these are all your transactions. These are my transactions on this wallet. And what that means, how convenient would it be? Not only is this secured and encrypted on my transactions, the ones I care about, of course, some stuff I don't care if it's encrypted, honestly. And quite frankly, a lot of times when I'm searching on Google, it's pretty convenient when I've been looking for something on the web, if I just start typing in the URL and that URL comes up. They're tracking me, and I understand that. But there are things that I don't want tracked. There are things that I do want private. A lot of stuff I want private. And this is all my transactions that are private. And in our version on the web, all of these transactions, I can now click a button, sort them. Hey, there's all my tax receipts. There's everything that I need for my health. There's all my personal private data in a report that I can instantly use or go back and find it. How convenient would that be alone, much less the fact that it's private and secure? So when we say you control your data, you actually, in this wallet and in this blockchain, the BlockCerts blockchain, have the power to both encrypt and decrypt and share what you want or access what you want and use it with people. So this is true. When we say utility, this is truly the way blockchain was intended to be. And as Daniela and I both did the very first Oxford blockchain program, the very first assignment many years ago now, 3-4 years ago almost, was explain what blockchain's going to do in 5 years or 10 years in the future. And we're showing you what blockchain is going to do 10 years in the future. I don't know what Daniele wrote. I know what I wrote about government and the social smart contract. But
we're talking about self-sovereign identity. That was
self-sovereign identity. We took what we studied and envisioned almost 4 years ago now and built it and are delivering it to you today. So that's what's exciting to me, is that we've been able to do that. So from this wallet, you can do that. The new area that I've never shown before, clicking right now, is our distributed application tie-in. So all of these tools in this toolbar now, you can see are either live or going live as we speak. And it's just rolling out. And I love what Dan said yesterday. So Meet Certain, I just showed you, is our Zoom. I Am Certain, Slack, ID Certain, Jumio on Fido, all of those guys. Work Certain, everything from Slack to Basecamp to Salesforce. And Dan, what did you say about us rolling out each one of these?
This is important, because to really note the significance of this, for each one of these rollouts, each one of these siloed software as a service rollouts, it's a $30 billion company. So as we talk about Slack, $30 billion, we talk about Zoom, we talk about DocuSign, Dropbox. These are all big companies with a lot of, obviously a lot of value, but that value goes back to their to the Silicon Valley and not back to
and to the user base. Actually, it's the people that we're using. And you told me yesterday that some token holder asked if they could send you some DocuSign documents, and you asked them, why don't you tell that story? It was a great story.
Well, yeah. So Doc asked if they could send me a DocuSign. I said, why don't we just use our sign certain, and we'll save you $480 this next year, because you're a token holder and you'll have access to that. So these are just things that are not only revolutionary, but transformational. And it's because this is built on new technology versus old technology that's been built on over and over again with a cost structure that isn't as efficient as what you've built and what the BlockCerts team has built over the years.
So let's talk about that. So each one of these is rolling out in a schedule. Meet Certain is live. I Am Certain is live. ID Certain is live. Work Certain will be live in August. We have Vax Certain coming out. That was a project we took on for the COVID vaccines to authenticate transactions and authenticate vaccines. I will show you, let me just get this up. The reason that needs to be done. And this is the news that came out last week, which is 2 travelers from the US were fined $20,000 each for fake vaccine documents. So we've got the technology, and we decided to bring out Vax Certain. So now you've got both identity and vaccine, and our first vaccine passport will be out. File Certain.
And Tim, before you go on, just on Vax Certain, had they purchased 1 token, they would have saved $20,000.
Yeah, or actually gotten a vaccine, I guess.
Or gotten the vaccine, of course.
There's that too.
There's that too. But if you look at trends like New York City, restaurants are now requiring it before you enter. And, you know, the globe is changing as we go to concerts and venues, et cetera. This is becoming very, very important. And this is a way to distribute a massive amount of tokens across the globe.
That's right. And so, as Dan said, 1 token, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But a few more little $30 billion companies like Dropbox, Team Certain, Microsoft Teams. We've got Team Certain and collaboration. Sign Certain, obviously DocuSign. Pay Certain, which eliminates a lot of problems, multi-billion-dollar problems in the credit card fraud industry. And you can look at Stripe, Square, PayPal. I mean, you name it. That's a very crowded space. Shop Certain eliminates a lot of the problems that you have with a centralized cloud software like Shopify. And then, of course, marketing and Market Certain, which we won't even get into because it's just so massive. The entire marketing media industry is so massive. So those are the rollouts. Now, that's cool. I mean, it all works. It's really powerful. It gives people an alternative. It gives them control. But what we're really excited about is how people get access to all of that. And the way that that's going to happen is right through our, let me get the right page up here. We're announcing our BlockCerts Choice program. So Choice is a membership that gives unlimited tools in the cloud for 9 BCERT tokens. That should be 9 BCERT tokens. This is our staging. It's one price, all the function forever for 9 BCERT tokens, or $99 a year. It's unlimited use, unlimited possibility, unlimited cloud for $99 a year. So that's like, and that model has been proven successful by something some of you may have heard of, a little company called that tried this way back when they were a small organization, and that little company was called Amazon. So they started Amazon Prime in 2005. Last year, they registered $25.21 billion in annual revenue. So another billion-dollar company. It's got over 200 million Prime members. And this is how it grew from 2013 to 2022. So our choice program is one price, no seat fees, $99 a year. More importantly, and what I'm excited about is how we're leveling the playing field, which is when you choose your country, Canada or other countries, we IP map you, we authenticate you, and then we level that $99 down to the price in your country based on cost of living. And we've got all of the cost of living tables and the world IP map. So if you are in a country that's 70 or 75% less, this will be 2 tokens for you. And so we now have incorporated a flattened global cloud access for every tool that you could need to do anything on the internet.
And that's the reason. And that's the reason why I relocated. That's the reason why I relocated from Switzerland to Italy.
To get this wallet, you didn't have to do that.
To get a discount because the life of living cost in Switzerland is higher.
Exactly. So. That's right. We're going to charge you Swiss francs.
Well, hey, Daniele, while you're talking there, why don't you share a little bit about expense to an asset? Because I think that's pretty important to note as you get tokens, you're using this unlimited for a year.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is getting, I would say, is getting to the attention of the investors. And I would say the more sophisticated investors that essentially the moment you hold tokens and then you, let's say in brackets, you pay in token or you buy and then you get tokens in exchange. So you have an expenditure. So you have a cost in your income statement. So that offsets kind of your revenue. So you decrease your revenues by the cost. But at the same time, you're getting an asset into your balance sheet. Okay. So this means, let's say you spend $90 worth of tokens. So you have a cost that hit your revenues by $90. But at the same time, you have an asset that is likely to increase over time. So this means your balance sheet will get better and better by the time the asset increase in value over time. So this means, and this is changing the way you use technology, because in the Web 2.0 fashion, essentially you just hit your cost. You pay, you get a service, and especially in the cloud, in the SaaS industry, you pay even if you're not using the service, which is even worse. So here you have a 2-factor improvement. Number one, you pay for what you use, and number two, even better, you get a positive impact to your balance sheet. So, and obviously this applies mostly to institutional, to more sophisticated investors, but it's coming more and more also to traders like me and you that use assets into the daily life to improve your wealth. So I think as long as people understand, they will change their life on how to spend money in technology.
Perfect. And then one other note, just want to state, is that with what Tim has shared with you so far, that's over $1,000 an employee that are sunk costs that businesses are spending today that you put into this new world at $99 with an asset moving to the other side of the balance sheet. It's just a game changer.
And I want to point out too that Web 2.0 broke technology into 2 categories: B2B, which is business to business, and B2C, which is business to consumer. But we all know that the only reason to buy B2B software is to get to that customer B2C and serve a customer in some way. So that's always been segmented and segregated. Yep. BlockCerts is B2B to C. So whether I want to use my choice membership, again, it's called choice for a reason. If I want to choose to call my mom on it, great. And she loves when I do that, or I have to do that today. Or if I want to hold this business meeting that we're having right here, it's my choice. and I control that. So we're already trying to use our technology that way. We've got corporate accounts where we're using Zoom to call friends, or I mean, everybody's doing this, but this is now given the power into that. The other thing I'd like to point out is how this grows is a lot more unified from a pricing model. As Daniele said, if you're not using it, then you're still paying for it under the traditional SaaS model. Under this model, it's kind of like Amazon. It is like Amazon Prime. If I'm not buying products, I'm not taking advantage of the free shipping, for example, in Prime. But I might be using streaming videos. Conversely, if I've got Prime and I'm buying products, maybe even for a business, I may not be using the video platform. So Amazon really did a good job of unifying all of that. And on top of that, underneath that infrastructure, there's a cloud called Amazon Web Services. That cloud contributes about 10% to Amazon's costs and about 60% to their profits. Why? Because it is a unit base that they have to run their own business. They essentially lease it out for use. We use Amazon Cloud. It's an amazing cloud. We also use Microsoft Cloud. But the way cloud pricing works, and our IT department knows this well, they manage this well to keep our costs controlled, is if you shut down a server, you pay a very, very, very little bit. If you have a server running and it's consuming lots of compute power, lots of storage space, you pay quite a bit more. It's volume based. So think of it like a true utility company. When I am in my home, and I tell my kids all the time, turn off the lights. You're killing a polar bear, right?
Don't we all, Tim?
I constantly am trying to do that. I'm consuming a certain amount of electricity, and I try to control that cost. If I'm a factory, I consume much more, and I pay much more to the utility company. Again, it's a proven model that has been out there for decades now, decades and decades. And we've simply taken Web 3.0 technology and enabled that. It's not unlike what's happening in DeFi. This is D-utility. This is D-cloud, we call it. And it's decentralizing that model that is of cost, that are layers that are simply not efficient or effective for the mass of people and the massive access to the cloud. So that's what utility actually means at its most fundamental level. And if you think we're crazy, and we probably are the crazy ones, so was Amazon to give away free shipping on everything if you did Prime. So was, taking a $12 or $15 record album and breaking it down to 99 cents. That's called iTunes. And now you've got streaming services like Spotify. This is streaming for the cloud in its purest sense. And this is Web 3.0, as Daniele points out. So welcome to Web 3.0. It's live. It's here. And now I want to go into trading.
Yep.
Okay. So all of that means that we're generating blocks, revenues, transactions. And as Daniele said, you hold a token now. You have this thing. And this thing is a BCERT token. That BCERT token and all of this transaction, all of these tools exist on the BlockCerts blockchain. What doesn't exist on the BlockCerts blockchain yet, but is massive, is the crypto trading market, which exists on Ethereum. Now, what I want to point out is up here, you probably didn't notice this little thing called testnet. In blockchain, it's quite common to build things and test them and run them. And then once you run them, because you're running test transactions, you actually will want to go to a live mode. So I'm going to switch to the live blockchain. And now you can see I'm on BlockCerts mainnet. I also want to point out this switch instance means I can work with anybody else's business that I'm invited to with the click of a button. And that's a massive win as well. That's like, would you like to log in with your Google or Facebook? This is Dan's favorite one to talk about, which is no more passwords.
No more passwords.
Yeah. So once I'm logged in and I'm authenticated, I'm identified, I'm doing that. So I go back to testnet here. And when I trade, that same thing exists on Ethereum. So I'm going to open up Uniswap here. Let me do that. And this is going to say, I'm going to open it in my browser. So I'm going to have to flip back and forth a bit here to show you this. Also, this would open me by default to the Ethereum mainnet. But today we're going to test on the Ropstein network. We're also going to show you a test pool that utilizes our bridge. So in blockchain, we started talking about this idea of cross-chain technology, being able to go across any chain. Daniele kind of touched on that when he said MetaMask is an Ethereum wallet. Yeah. But there's several blockchains out there. There's Hyperledger, there's Bitcoin is its own blockchain. And in fact, even these networks, this is its own blockchain called Ropstein. This is its own blockchain called Rinkeby. In our world of blockchain, we call those forks. These evolved as the two biggest test networks out there for development and testing different things like what would it look like if I did this pool. So anybody who's ever traded, invested and so forth, quite often you'll put up a pool of a stock portfolio and you'll watch it and you'll see how your trading works. That's what test networks are in the DeFi world and in the blockchain world as well. Okay, so when we're doing development or we're releasing things, we're actually doing a test network. The way we do this is we built a bridge to go cross-chain. Our first bridge is between the BlockCerts blockchain and Ethereum. This gives you access to this broad world of Ethereum. Now you've got all of these BCERT tokens. Maybe you're earning rewards in ink. Maybe you want to do something with those tokens. You're going to send some BCERTs over through the test network, from the BlockCerts blockchain network, from whatever wallet that you choose to send it over from. You're going to get WBCERTs or wrapped BCERTs. This is our test name. I'm not sure that's what we're going to call it when we go live. And you're going to swap those. Once you do that, you will then be on the trading area and you will be able to go over and access all of those networks. The way you do that is you're going to open your browser. You're going to go to Uniswap and you're going to open the Uniswap app. Okay. And I'm going to connect to a wallet here. And I'm going to use Wallet Connect. And that instantly, because I've already done this before, recognizes my address here. That's my address that I have on the BlockCerts blockchain. I'm sorry, on the Ethereum blockchain. That's my wallet address here that ties this wallet directly to my exchange. And now I'm going to be able to grab my start my account and go into trade some tokens or set up a liquidity pool. So let me do that. And I'll just grab the address that we have. That's not it. Let me get the right address.
And as Tim's doing this again, we just want to note that Daniele will be training us over the next 2 weeks on this so that we become mainstream users of this, those of us that want to get involved in liquidity pools.
That's right. I just have to find the right address.
Yep.
Sorry, thought I had the right one. Maybe not.
And Danielle, while Tim's doing that, you might just talk a little bit about, you talked about an expense to an asset. You don't have to go into liquidity pools. You can use your tokens to do all the business tools that we're using and talking about, but you can use those as well as enter liquidity pools, as well as use your tokens in many ways for that asset portion of your token. You're on mute, Danielle.
You're right.
There we go.
Yeah. So in fact, what we're gonna do in the next days is to explain that so tokens obviously has a utility, which is essentially using the platform. Tokens are an asset into your balance sheet wherever you are, and not necessarily an expenditure to use technology, but is an asset that improves your wealth as a whole by a factor of whatever amount is being purchased there, because you get a share of a network in the usage into the reward terms. And third, actually, you can use those tokens to supply liquidity, so to become so-called liquidity provider. So you take an active role into the creation of the liquidity pools out of trading pairs involving the BCERT token, and you earn a reward which is kind of proportional to the amount of the liquidity being provided into that pool. And Uniswap has some key features, nice features that we're gonna go in details, and so in the coming days or weeks, so as people who understand how to optimize the strategy. Again, what we're doing here is not a financial advice on how to invest, but is to educate how to use those interface to get a benefit out of the holding of the token. But again, to whatever extent we're providing financial advice on the token itself, but we're just essentially sharing how and educate people how to best use those interfaces.
Perfect. And we have some individuals that I know I've talked to that are very eager to enter liquidity pools and find out about farming and staking because they've done that in the past, or they're interested in doing that in the future. And this is an opportunity to do that with a token that is currently being utilized for other things. So it has multiple uses, and that's why when we talk about utility and value, it's pretty incredible what is can be done with the token. And not everybody, as Tim was saying, like with Amazon, not everybody sends packages. They might stream. You might not stream and you send packages, but there are many different options of what our token fuels and powers.
Yeah.
So here we are on the Uniswap. Sorry about that. I was on the main net, so I was getting the wrong address. You can see that we will have our liquidity, our unclaimed fees, our BCERT, and your BCERT will appear on the main net on the mainnet. There's a billion BCERTs there, and you'll be swapping them over here. So what's happening is you're going from, and you'll match that with your liquidity of ETH, okay? So in this case, the reward is 0.05%. And while that's happening here, every transaction for that liquidity pool owner on this side that holds on the BlockCerts side that holds those WB certs here will be earning rewards from every transaction that goes through any of these, and those will show up. All of this will show up in your wallet. So as you are trading this and as you're holding liquidity or BCERT tokens, you're actually earning in two ways. You're earning in the pool and you're earning from utility. That's never been done before, where you have a double dip, so to speak, from the actual use and building of the blocks, which effectively makes you, I don't want to use this term, but it's true. It actually makes you a block miner. So it's like being part of a mining pool and a liquidity pool simultaneously.
Yeah.
Which drives your overall reward for being a utility blockchain, BlockCerts community token holder and member. So on the trading between the function of these trades going in and out of this and going back to what that means in a whole new way. And you can see this is what my problem was. I'm on the Ropstein network here. I'm over here when I go to my trading and I've connected to Uniswap here. I'm on my Ropstein network. And when I connect that here, I have to connect to the right wallet address.
And Tim, I can also say that the reward, so the trading fee rewards is higher because 0.05% is the reward to trade to provide liquidity when it comes down to stable coin, for example, DAI with USDC. So this means they trade against the same range. So then you earn a lower fee, so which is 0.05. When you trade, for example, Uni-ETH is 0.3%, but if you trade exotic tokens, so new tokens is about 1%. So it's higher than that.
Right.
And the reward, is not proportional. So this means 0.05% is not, so let's say you deploy, I don't know, $1,000 worth of liquidity, and then we will explain how. It doesn't mean that you get 0.05% every year, every month, every day to that liquidity. So this means if you supply liquidity into that pair and that pair is being traded, let's say $1 million a day, it generates 0.05% trading fees to that 1 million, and this 0.05% is rewarded proportional to the liquidity providers per day, continuously actually.
So that's why we're going to do separate trading and show you how this connection all works. What I'm showing you here now is functionally how this appears. So the first thing that happens is you have this idea of a QR code that gives you that compatible wallet connectivity. And then you're going to be asked to approve or deny that connection to the wallet. This gives you a secure link between the Uniswap network and the network. You're now connected, okay? And when I connect that, I now have that wallet connected to my Uniswap network, and that exact wallet is going to be able to trade. Oops, I want to go back.
But this is a stable coin pool, so that's why 0.05%. Yeah.
Right. So when we do that, what we've basically done is connected all of our trading to whatever wallet we choose to use, and that wallet, along with our bridge and our swap right here, this bridge, you'll basically just swap and go, and then you need to know how to use your pool over here.
Yeah.
Okay. So without getting too much into that, Daniele, maybe you can wrap up with how we're going to do some
Yeah.
of that actual functional on a private invitation only.
Yeah, we'll go step. Let me check if I'm on mute. No, I'm not on mute. So, so we'll go step by step, because first of all, we need to explain how to open up a liquidity position. That's step number one. Step number two is to understand how to evaluate, eventually, how to forecast how much liquidity a liquidity provider can deploy, and what are the possible strategies, and essentially is working on the concentration of where tradings occur to maximize the returns based on the volumes into that liquidity pool. But in order to go to this step, and talking about also concentrated liquidity, so meaning to concentrate liquidity across a specific pricing range, then we need to get through probably a couple of iterations. And lastly, we're going to explain the concept of impermanent loss, which is being dramatically improved by Uniswap v3. And all this will be focused at Uniswap v3, because right now in Uniswap, there are three versions, v1, v2, v3. And essentially, we're going to focus on the most evolved version, which is the Uniswap v3, to supply liquidity. So the ones you just shown, where liquidity providers receive, as a proof of liquidity provision, receive an NFT, which is what UTeam has shown before.
And there's the three versions that Daniele's talking about: version 1, version 2, version 3.
That's right.
And so not only do you have a 3 versions, you also have 3 test networks. So you have 3 networks. You have Uniswap mainnet, which is Ethereum mainnet. You have Ropstein, and you have Rinkeby. On BlockCerts, you have 2 networks. You have your test network and you have your main network. So what we've done in the wallet is tried to make that as simple as possible, because it gets, trust me, it gets very confusing very fast to know where you're at and so forth. And we're trying to make this as accessible and usable as possible.
We improve some complexities of the Uniswap decentralized exchange interfaces, because there are some traders that are confused because they supply liquidity on a pair on Uniswap v2. And then there was Uniswap v3 that was upgraded, but they had expected to take the benefit from upgrading automatically from v2 to v3 seamlessly. And this did not happen. So people got confused because they got a liquidity position on Uniswap v2 on pair, let's say A and B, and they had to open up a new liquidity position on Uniswap v3 to get a new NFT liquidity provision, and the two don't talk each other. So what I've done in some cases, I had to close liquidity position and then to pay Ethereum fees on Uniswap v2, and then to open up a new liquidity position on Uniswap v3, because there was a kind of ROI in doing this. But I think we're going to go through it.
And just an example of how difficult this can be was how long it took me to find the exact right network and address for the pool. So that's what Daniele's talking about. It's blockchain, and we've said this in many World From Here's, has been very geeky. It's been very much the domain of geeks. And you really, really have to work at it to do it. We want this, especially with BCERTs, WBCERTs, and our tools, to be as seamless as possible. Our tools, we've had already comments back on our utility that our tools are better, way better than things like DocuSign. So we're shooting for that and de-geekifying this whole blockchain, world. So with that, so far I've kept my promise, and I'm going to continue to keep my promise. No PowerPoints. This is all live. What's happening next is how we go through and finish this up. I wanted to point out one last thing, which is how much is happening in the world. According to the pitch book for Q2 delivered by Silicon Valley Bank, the record exits, and I love that, record exits by VC firms in Q2 2021, $387 billion just so far this year. So $387 billion, record exits, profits made by the VCs. This is just giving you an idea of how powerful Web 2.0 has been, but more importantly than that, this big massive shift, we're seeing more power and more money come into the technology space than ever in history. And it's absolutely massive.
And Tim, Daniele said something yesterday that I think is just phenomenal to think about. You were talking about growth quarter by quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. Every day things changing. But if you take just what happens on, I take just two metrics. There are many, but just two metrics. If you take the number of wallet address in Bitcoin, Ethereum, so we're doubling every year. So this means right now we are approximately 140 million. So next year will be 280 million. Next year will be 560, and the next one will be 1 billion. Okay, users on crypto as a whole. And there is one player in here that is dealing in the space, which is called FTX. And FTX is the fastest growing company in history. So this means the guy like Sam Bankman-Fried, that is the CEO of and founder of FTX, is the Steve Jobs of nowadays. And we're dealing with guys like this. So we cannot really stop, or we cannot really imagine what we're building here, because the market is growing in a manner that we have no comparable in the past.
Yeah, and you were talking about trillions versus
trillion versus quadrillion. I mean, if you take the derivative markets, it's already a quadrillion market into the traditional financial market. In crypto, it's getting way bigger than that. Right. So this means we're already heading towards a quadrillion market cap market. And I'm not talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum market cap. I'm talking about the whole space, including the derivative potential, right, which is it's bigger by a factor of 1,000.
So awesome. We're gonna focus more on functionality of that whole exchange between in-network exchange between BCERT, WBCERT, and Uniswap on our next webinar. To wrap up, I'll give you the sneak peek of what you'll be receiving in your emails, links to visit, and so forth. So first, our new presentation of the BlockCerts Choice Award membership. And the membership, it is an award. If you're
I was just going to say, it is an award.
Membership Cloud is coming live, has been, you're going to be able to stake your claim to the cloud. If you've already got 9 BCERT tokens, obviously you'll have all of the horsepower that you access that with. It is a new world of cloud. And we've talked about the digital dozen, the ID certain, file certain, pay certain, and so forth. And around the middle of August, we'll be announcing the COVID NFT vaccine or VaxCertain passport. It'll be available in August, live and ready to go. When you visit the BlockCerts Choice membership, you'll also be able to learn about what you can do in BlockCerts with the BCERT tools and the certain product line of tools and tool sets, which includes all of the NFT work we're doing, all of the use case work we're doing, and obviously our power to connect the token with the WBCERT token and all the rewards. So you can visit all of this on bcert.io. We call ourselves the Pirates of SaaS for profits that are going to be distributed to the community holder. And we talk about our value stack in a one-click world as we challenge Web 2.0, all on the bcert.io site. And our token marketplace, where all of the retail utility tokens can be accessed. Our pre-sale is over on the marketplace because as of today, we've launched and we're live. So if you have any questions, please get in touch with us. There will be more to come. We will be connecting to all of you who are token holders, and to say that we owe this kind of opportunity that's been created to you is an understatement. We wouldn't have been able to do this without your believing also that it could be done. And as I like to tell my friend Michael Hummel all the time, CEO of Supercard Driven, the difficult we can do immediately, the impossible will take a little longer. I think our team at BlockCerts has accomplished the impossible. So now we know it's possible, or as Nelson Mandela said, it always seems impossible until it's done. It's launched, and I'm really happy to announce this today and be handing it over to the token community, the BCERT token community. Let's see what you can do with it now. As Daniele said, I have no idea where it goes from here. I know it's cool. I know it's all super powerful, but it's going to be up to our community to take it and make those changes in the world. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah, and Tim, I just want to say that was a whole lot to swallow. So we'll be sending more information out to you. But again, just to let everybody know, next week we will be training more on liquidity pools, farming, staking, etc. And we want to have you as our valued token community to be involved in this first important step, getting feedback, etc. So that, and we wanted to talk to you first before we announce anything externally and move forward in that way as well. So.
And I do want to point out that there is the in the wallet the ability to invite users, and so you will be able to invite people, and in that referral program you are able to go ahead and invite people, get rewarded, be part of growing this community, and you'll have your private link that you can send this. Anytime you send that link out, it will show up in your invite program and in your instance once you're created, and it's easily accessed right here in the referral program, and you'll be able to see all of the different private links that switch as you go through your instances. So it will always track where you started in supporting the community. Also, as Dan said, we wanted to get this to you before next week's World From Here, where we announce all of this live to the world. So please invite people to our YouTube channel next week. This was for you, for our token holder community only. It's a private webinar. If you're not a token holder, you're not on it, or shouldn't be. I don't control YouTube yet, but
yeah, it is a private link. We've shared it with a few that just joined us though too. So thanks everybody.
So thanks for being here. And as I always like to say, we're bringing out Vasko, but until we actually get that in your pockets, stay safe, stay healthy, and BCERT wallet to truly get digital with Web 3.0.
Cool. Great. Thanks everybody for joining us.
Everybody.
We'll have more information in your email as well.